It's 10 hours.
This is Saurabh, and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
As another week starts in the month of August. We are looking at episode number 404 on the 16th of August 2021. And let's take a look at the menu, the breakfast menu for this morning's episode. So let's take a look at the main menu, the breakfast menu for this morning's episode. We will be discussing the Messi exit of Messi, his leaving the Barcelona football team and moving on to another team in another country, another city, and how Messi and overhyped it was. And then, as always, we will discuss the India England tournament. So, who is Messi? But before that, when you say football, what does it mean? Football means South America and Europe. Whether it's the private tournaments, the world tournaments, the continental tournaments. This year, the world was obsessed by the Euro Cup and the South America Cup, and now we are going to be obsessed by the players from these countries representing their respective semi-private clubs. That is La Liga, Barcelona, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Italian Cup, the German Cup, the Dortmund Cup, and all these tournaments. And the majority of the players will be who will be a part of this tournament are going to be either from South America, that is Brazil, Argentina, or Europe. That is mostly the Western Europe, that is UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and that is what defines football. Everyone is obsessed about it. And we have to look beyond this. We keep on saying cricket is crazy in India. Well, that's nothing compared to how obsessed people are about football. And then the first question is, who is Messi? Messi is the most overhyped, overpriced, and overpaid player. Well, that can be debatable. Someone with goose egg skills. Well, does he have skills? Well, he is 37 years of age, so he has been there for the past 2 decades. But there are other footballers as well. Why are we putting all our eggs in one basket when it comes to Messi or Ronaldo, or to some extent Kylian Mbappe or Mohamed one from Qatar, and there are other players, but then Qatar is 1/10 of the representation of football. And this whole exit from Barcelona, the crying, the emotions, I wasn't impressed. What was that about? It didn't impress me. Okay, he is moving on from one country to another country's program. He's moving from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain, and they're excited about it, but he will be under pressure because it's a part of Champions League. There could be a possibility that he may come up against his former team Barcelona, but that is where the difference lies. He may have spent 20 years, but you are never attached because you are going to go to a different team, like it happens in sports all over the world as far as the domestic part is concerned. So he may have spent over 20 years in Barcelona, but you cannot say that he was attached to it, because one day you are in this club, next day you are in this club. Everyone wants Messi because Messi brings in money. But is Messi himself a good enough player? Well, that can be debated. There are other players of other countries from India. There are a lot of talented and more skilled Indian players, but it's been all about Messi, Messi, Messi. Paris Saint-Germain, the French soccer domestic team, bankrolled by the state of Qatar, have signed to a 2-year contract with Messi. The agreement, which comes days after Messi bid a tearful farewell to Barcelona, the team where he spent his entire professional career, concluded a brief and exclusive bidding war for Messi and reunited him with Neymar. on one of the most expensive and talented attacking teams in soccer history. A bidding war for him. I wouldn't bid for him at any time. For me, he's there. He'll be here today, he'll be gone tomorrow. I don't know what's. I mean, he himself wanted to go, so they made a big deal out of it. They made a big melodrama out of it, and it did impress me. And why did we need a full page coverage? It's not as if something big has happened. Players come and go. It doesn't matter which team he plays for, PSG or Barcelona or Madrid. It's a 2 year deal. Will the 2 year deal be fulfilled? Well, if his management, and as the term goes, bosses, if he doesn't win or even doesn't reach the finals of this year's Champions Trophy, the domestic Champions Trophy, anywhere near the finals, which at least would get him a hypothetical silver medal or a second place, his 2 year contract may be looked at again. Because the only reason they want him here is because he's done well for his previous team. He left the team because they weren't able to pay him, and there was the whole payment issue with the restricted payments and everything, and the team struggling with financial problems. That's the only reason. Well, I don't think if a team can afford a player, it doesn't mean that the player can necessarily pay back in winning. But that's the major deal. That must have been the first point in the contract. If you want to be here, he will give you a chance, but you have to win. You have to win at any cost, because we are going to sponsor you for 2 years. You are going to change your jersey. You're going to live in luxury. You're going to roll in money. You're going to have expensive cars. You can move around and do everything that you wanted to do, which you could not do with your previous team, where you had a supposed emotional attachment. But how does it make a difference? He's here one day, tomorrow it could be back to Madrid or any other team. But this is the big news. So when this tournament starts, and when this team, Paris Saint-Germain from Paris, of course, starts their matches, it's still not decided which team will they play again. UEFA Champions Trophy is going to happen, and once again a player from Spain rather, is playing for Europe. He did just win a South American Cup for them. Right? So player from South America played for Barcelona, with whom he had no potential relation, and now he's playing for a team from another country in Europe, and they have made a big deal out of Messi's situation, and that's why this is nothing more than a Messi exit. So Messi was unable to close a new deal with Barcelona because of a financial crisis that meant that numbers simply could not add up. And to re-sign Messi, the greatest player in club history, well, I disagree, but let's go with this pseudo appreciation. 200 Barcelona would have to shed more than 200 million from its payroll to meet stringent requirements set by the Spanish league. They made a big deal out of Messi. He's born in South America, which is called Latin America. In Argentina, you nearly speak Portugal, and Brazil is all Spain. So Brazil and Argentina aren't special countries when they're influenced by Europe. They were always going to be influenced by Europe the moment you said South America or Latin America. And here we are discussing a player who is decent, but there's nothing special about him. he moves from one team to the other. And then we talk about players not being spoiled. This is the definition of spoiled. What else can you do in this situation? This is nothing more than spoiled. And if he doesn't fulfill the contract, the only contract you want to get paid, you win, you may extend your contract. But this was an unnecessary issue. Will age become a factor? Maybe not. I don't know. We'll know what happens in a few years, but age may not become a factor. His contemporary Ronaldo, another player who was hyped like anything. But in short, for football, we have to look beyond South America and Europe, and we have to stop idolizing and putting such players who will come and go at any time at on a divine pedestal. Let's move on to the second subject for this morning's episode. So here we are, finishing 4 days of the India England second match. India are 6 for 181, leading by over 150 runs with Pant and Ishant Sharma there. And now the debate is, how many runs will they make? How many runs can their opposing team chase? And of course, the debate was all about the Rahane Pujara situation. They did well, according to me. I won't go into details of what they did. You can always do your own research, but I think it was a good match overall. Yes, some controversies surrounding it, but what makes me a little strange is that players may or may not make runs. They may have technical abnormalities, but it's insignificant. They may make runs, they may not make runs, they made runs. It's insignificant. Because the quality of commentary resembles a goose egg, and we have a paucity of commentators who need to look beyond the dreadful obsession with the past and shedding their inflated ego. So I was watching a video in which one of the anchors said that the ballers played on a certain batter's ego. Would they have said this if this was, let's say, Tanukar, Ganguly, Dravid, Lakshman, Sehwag, Gambhir? If one of these players had hit such a shot and they had got out, would they have discussed this? No. Why? Because they are afraid to even discuss this about this amongst each other, especially on a public platform. They're obsessed with that. According to them, those players did no wrong despite their obvious flaws and at points in which their contribution was not right. And this is where cricket is a strange game. We don't discuss the team, we discuss the individual. Well, in football also we discuss Messi. If Messi doesn't score for PSG and they still win, the headline will be PSG win but Messi fails to score. Similarly, if India go on to win, India win, but XYZ bowler fails to take a wicket. For example, Bumrah didn't take a wicket, everybody was shooting fireballs at him. At the same time, Anderson also did not take a wicket, but people forgot about him. Why? Because Bumrah is 27, Anderson is 40, so and Anderson has played 150, 60 matches, and everyone is wow, wow, wow. He didn't take a wicket, but he can always do that. And then there's of course the Pujara dismissal in which the ball skid off the surface and went to the fielder. But this is not the first time I have seen such a event happen. I can give you two instances in which these egoistic commentators even forgot or they think their production company will not allow them to reveal. But what happened in Pujara, if you have seen that the ball hit his gloves and went to the fielder, it has happened two times before. It happened in 2011 with Jack Callis. The ball spit, and then it also happened with Steve Smith earlier this year. So we cannot, what goes around comes around. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Is 150 plus enough? Don't know. Rishabh Pant has Ishant Sharma, Mohammad Shami, Jasprit Bumrah, and Mohammad Siraj in company. And of course, our tail is long and we can debate this. And of course, Moeen Ali got some turn. He got 2 wickets. Everyone comes to the discussion. Should Ashwin have played? Should he have not played? This will always happen. Hypothetically, had Ashwin played in place of any of these 4 bowlers and had he gone for runs and not picked up a wicket, then they would have said, what is Ashwin doing in the team? Because Jadeja will contribute at 7, just like they have forced Moeen Ali into the team along with Sam Curran because they are all-rounders. In lieu of Stokes, they had to get 2 good all-rounders. Similarly, in lieu of Hardik Pandya, they had to get in 2 all-rounders in which Thakur is injured, Ashwin comes in, Ashwin doesn't come in, Ishant Sharma comes in, he also picks up a wicket, but and then England get Mark Wood, who is bowling just like what Neil Wagner has done, bowling short pitch deliveries, Rohit Sharma going for the pull shot. It happens. You have time. The moment we say he could have done better, he's a great player, we are not appreciating a player or a team. That's in fact a kind of an insult. So when we say that Ashwin should have played, Jadeja's place is questionable, we're actually saying, well, Ashwin is decent, we don't trust Jadeja enough. So if you are saying that X should not play, without saying X should not play, instead Y should play, why should Y not play, and why should X, there should be a question mark over the X player playing, and questioning why should the Y player is not playing. You're saying that that player isn't good enough. So we are saying if this player is not around, oh, are we going to miss him? Look, they made a decision, whether wrong or right. Moeen Ali was always going to work out. He's a decent bowler. So why can't Jadeja work out, right? One is a left arm spinner, one is a right arm spinner. I don't think whether you are a left arm spinner or a right arm spinner, it really makes a difference. But at this situation, 6 for 180, Pant on strike, everyone is excited. Unlike the last match, which was rained out and India had to chase around 200. Look at that situation. India were given a target of 200 and yet they created this fear, oh, can they chase? There's a middle order problem, except 1 or 2 players, nobody else is contributing. But if India gave England a target of, let's say hypothetically, if they add 30-40 more runs miraculously or in whatever way they add those runs and it happens, and England have a target of, let's say, 190 plus in, let's say, 70 overs, if that is possible, 70, 75 overs, which means they have to go at 2 runs per over, which means, but nobody will say that it's difficult for England to chase. Why? Because it's England and all the hype surrounding it, and Root can single-handedly do it. He obviously made 180 out of a total of 390. So if England are given a target around 190, nobody will say they cannot chase it, but nobody will say they can Nobody, everyone might say they can chase it, but nobody will say they cannot chase it. So, how does this situation pan out if this was any other team? If this was Australia, South Africa, even the West Indies team are doing well at this point. We never take West Indies seriously because we are still obsessed with Holding, Garner, and the players of the 60s, 70s, 80s who are by now great grandfathers and sitting in the room on the couch with a couch potato like situation. We are still, we can't look beyond them. We have fogged ourselves. We need to defog ourselves with the older players and respect the current players. The older players made mistakes, yet some of them have been awarded with a commentary position which I find absolutely nonsensical. And that's why I think they feel that despite our apparent failures, I wouldn't say failures, but let's go with the word failures, we were awarded with a commentary contract, which means we have this free reign to criticize anyone, even if they do better than us. So if Ishant Sharma does better than a baller turned commentator whose contribution was -1%, when they were playing, they would still say, not good enough. He should have bowled more further up. He should have bowled more short deliveries because they've got the license to say anything, and the contract says say anything. Don't be too negative, but open your mouth. You have been given a contract. You're lucky enough. Well, I think the companies, the broadcast companies who award contracts should send their files to me about which players they are giving a contract or renewing the contract, and then I will audit the players and I will let them know, pick this one, don't pick this one, and never pick this one. I can audit them better. I'll tell, no, don't pick XYZ, they don't deserve it. Cancel their contract. Pick this one despite even if they're reluctant enough to be there. You send me the list, I will tell you, because most of the players we see, except England, not everyone in England has played enough matches, and if they have played, they retired 50 years ago. So that's huge difference. You can't communicate what happened in 1971 to 2021. The good old days is absolute rubbish. Nobody cares about the good old days. But the Indian side, very few of them have played over 50 matches. In fact, only two in that entire group has played over 50 test matches, or let's test for now. One day we'll discuss later. Most of them have played around 35, 36. And you compare this to the current team, except one player, everyone has played over 40 matches. They have been there for 13 years and they have done well. So there's a mismatch in that commentary box who have not played that much, who comment on the player's ability not to play spin when I can give you incidents when they were poor against spin. So now what is good for the goose is good for the gander and glass houses. And as far as the bowling on day 4 went, despite England making 390 and whatever controversies happened with the LBW, that was bizarre. Nothing more to say on it. 9.9, the egomaniacs may have given it 4 on 10. India's performance yesterday, 7.5. Yes, some players question over their run making machines not doing the job. Can happen. Maybe take a break. You have already taken a break. Anything can happen in the next few days. Anything can happen this evening. So how do I look at it? I think both teams have an equal chance to win. You get to a lead of 190 and then do what you can. You have 4-5 very good bowlers, including Jadeja. If Ashwin is not there, unless a rule comes where the International Cricket Council says you can substitute a player who can replace another player if you need him, like football or hockey. Like for example, when you need bowling, you ask one of the batters to go off, get Ashwin in and get Ashwin Jadeja to bowl. If till that time they are not that flexible, we have to go with this. We have to go with the playing 11, and whatever they have chosen, when it's wrong, right, whatever it is, you have to go with it.
It's 10:30.
this evening's match, I think it's still a 50-50 situation. 150 is already a good lead. If this was the other way around, there would already be tremors being sent by these egomaniacs that can they chase 160. England has such a good bowling lineup. We have such a brittle middle order and all those things. All you need is one wicket and then there are problems. So, how do you look at this? I have no idea. It's a 50-50 situation. India may need another 30 runs to have a good target. England, time, they will want to bat out time and then rely on, you can't rely on the top three who will do what Pujara did, make 8 of 100 balls. So it's up to two people, three people, two people, Bairstow and Root, and then they look at Butler and Curran to do the job and Moeen Ali. But we'll see if they reach, if the situation is that they need Butler and Moeen Ali to get them the runs, then that's a troublesome situation. If this was South Africa defending 180 right now or 20 years ago, you would have said South Africa is in the winning position. If this was Australia with the lead of 150, winning position, even our neighbours, and we know our neighbours on the west, we saw what happened in their match versus West Indies, who won by 1 wicket, but they fought till the end. It's a very similar match. They can lose 4 wickets for 4 runs, and England can need 160. They can add 40 more runs, and England can need 190. So anything is possible, but I wouldn't be sad if either of the team loses. England planned better, but that's what you do. That's what a team is supposed to do. So how do I look at this? A 50-50 situation, unless it rains. You never know what happens, unless bad light comes into effect. But I think it will be done by tea. Either team will know what happens by lunch. In fact, in the first 40-45 minutes, we'll know what the plan of both the teams is. England will try to bowl short to a certain player. They will try to get spin versus the other player. You can guess who. And then they can lose 4 wickets for 10 runs, 4 wickets for 30 runs. The target could easily become 190. I have no idea what are they planning. Pant, a test for him, done it before, been there, done that, blah 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 blah. Anything is possible, yada yada yada. Let's see what happens.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the weekly show.
So this ends episode number 404 on the 16th of August 2021. I will be back on Wednesday, the 18th of August 2021 at 10 a.m. IST to analyze.